What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. In today's episode, we have a ton to discuss. And look at the whale sitting in front of us, all cleaned up, bright and sunny out here in Dallas, Texas. We're already creeping into November, but it's still 70, 80 degrees out here. But anyways, very recently, EICMA just happened. And if you don't know what that is, let me briefly explain to you. It's basically a huge motorcycle convention where all the bike manufacturers come together to basically show off their new bikes. All the way from concept bikes that are still years out to bikes that will be available in the market by early spring. This event happens all the way across seas in Milan, Italy once a year. There's some really cool things that went down at EICMA. Brand new motors got teased. Motors that we're going to be seeing heavily used in the future on sport bikes. If you guys been around social media the last couple of days, you'll probably know some of the bikes that we're going to talk about today. Or at least seen a few things about them. Like the new ZX10R, we have the brand new CF Moto V4, which is CF Moto's first go at the superbike market. Alongside of that, we have the BMW concept bike, which they teased earlier this year, but we have some new information on it, and of course BMW showed up to EICMA with it, basically putting it into fruition that this concept bike from BMW is coming. From visual to performance, I did a ton of research and compiled a list of what I thought was the most interesting bikes at EICMA this year, or at least the most interesting bikes in the sport bike and superbike world, along with a few other bikes that we're going to mention, general news. So let's hop on the M1K and talk about everything that's coming new in the sport bike world. A little bit windy out here today in Texas, but it's riding weather. It's all that matters. It's riding weather. We have some new boots as well. The same exact boots as my old one, the Torque 3s. Just a pair of freshies. We finally got a jacket though. This is legit my first time riding with it, so I'm just breaking it in. The first bike on the list that we're going to talk about today is probably the most controversial, the new ZX10R. This bike visually is quite a bit different than the 2025 model. Now, I posted on my Instagram story on pretty much all the bikes that we're going to talk about today, letting people give their opinions, their thoughts on the bikes, and we'll talk about what the people think of these bikes here in just a little bit. But looking at the ZX10, just first looks, the bodywork has a major overhaul. A lot of people are kind of upset, specifically to the Kawasaki fans, that the bike looks super similar to the ZX6. And I'm not even going to lie to you, it does. It looks very similar to the ZX6. A 6R with wings is what most people are saying, and it's hard to disagree with them. Also, a lot of the new bikes that are on the list today all are going to have one similarity in common. The new advanced aero package, which basically means these bikes have winglets now. But the bodywork isn't the only thing that's different. There are some other changes, and if you're a Kawasaki fan, I'm not sure if you're going to like the new changes. Changes that I noticed, it is the same engine, the typical one they've been using for a while, the 998cc inline 4 motor, but Kawasaki states that the motor has been refined for emissions compliance. And typically what that means for emissions compliance is that bikes are detuned. As time goes on and we get more and more into the future, the restrictions just become more and more heavier. Now, I know for sure this bike was not refined for more power, because doing some more deep diving on the ZX10, it says the peak horsepower numbers has not changed at all. The ZX10's also got a little bit bigger of a dash. The old one was a 4.3 inch, the new one's a 5. No clue where we're going. Seen a cop that way, so we're not going that way. Kawasaki also confirmed that the ZX10rr is coming out, which is the upgraded version of the ZX10R, the race version. This one's going to be a single seat. It's only going to be used for track. The MSRP on the old ZX10rrs are around 30 grand. I would say they're probably going to stay the same. This kid's waving at me. What's up, buddy? Oh yeah. They're also bringing back that iconic lime green. I don't know the exact name of the color, but Kawasaki's been doing green forever, obviously, but that specific shade isn't really on much of the new bikes until now. So I don't like that color at all. I think it's bright and like obnoxious and easily can stand out, but I know a lot of people love Kawasaki's, and that's what they're known for, is that green. So So the whole new fairing design and the winglets were enough to introduce the aero package from Kawasaki. The aluminum frame still remains the same, but they adjusted the swing arm pivot for quote-unquote improved traction. That's insane to me. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a bike wizard guy, but adjusting the geometry of the suspension because you added some winglets, I don't know. We got a rider, homie. The bike's also equipped with Brimbos. Hello! Speaking of Kawasaki's, we should stop and ask him and see what he thinks of the new ZX10. Hey, pull over! I want your opinion on this. 5:30, by the way. Sun's going down now. The ZX10 also has a couple new colorways that are coming out. The ZX10R's MSRP has typically been around 18.8, 18.9 for a base model. And I don't think with winglets, refined motor for emissions, a dash raised by not even an inch, is going to make it a ton of more money. So I don't see it being much more than 18.9. You have so much creative availability as a bike designer and manufacturer, and I know it gets repetitive every year trying to come up with something new, but you don't have to make copycat bikes. One thing that Kawasaki's done for a long time that I just don't like is the same dash. I believe it was 2011 to 2021 they had this same dash for 10 years. It never changed. And I know the Gixxer 1000s, they had the same dash for 12 years, which is longer than that. But look at the pool that the Gixxers are put in. Again, you have so much availability. I get it keeping the same dash for a few years, even 5 years, but 10 years and even 12 years is insane to me. What are these guys doing, bro? But no, hey, I'm not a hater of any bike manufacturer. My first ever motorcycle was a Kawasaki, a Ninja 650. I enjoy the H2s very much, and I like the 636 platforms. I don't think I hate the ZX10, but I think they could have done a lot cooler things with it. Kawasaki also says, too, in that quote, the bike's fairing and front-end rework makes the ZX10 more aggressive. I don't know if we're looking at the same bike now, but the 2025 looks way more aggressive, in my opinion. I get it, it's like sales tactics, it's features, you know, you can pretty much say whatever you want about the bike. You'll see a lot of these new bikes that will say, oh, we're making 210 horsepower, but you know, you get it out in real world, you throw it on a dyno and it makes like 195, or not even that. And I'm sure I'm missing a few other small things for the Kawasaki, but those are the major things to note about it. And Kawasaki states that these bikes will be ready as early as spring of next year. Let's get into the next bike on the list. Definitely one of my favorites. What are you doing? You're reversing because you missed the turn in the middle of traffic. Hey. Yeah, yeah. Unbelievable. This doesn't even blow my mind anymore, but next up we have the CF Moto V4, which again, like I said earlier in the video, this is CF Moto's first go into the superbike world, and this bike is actually insane. There hasn't been an absolute ton of things confirmed on this bike, but CF Moto teased this bike already earlier in the year. Now the bike is completely finished. I can't lie to you, no matter if I love or hate the look of this bike, I love to see new bike manufacturers stepping into the game. Although this is a Chinese manufacturer, and our mind goes to a lot of places when we think of Chinese products, but the CF Motos have been around for a little bit now. Looks wise, this thing looks wild. It looks to me nothing like any other sport bike. The massive winglets on the side of this bike are equipped with active aero, meaning just like, you know, on the McLarens, when the spoiler tilts, these winglets tilt as well, automatically for you, adjusting to high speeds, cornering, hard braking, all that stuff. One of the first bikes I've ever seen with a real active aero system. Oh my god, that wind was so scary! Holy crap, dude, I was not joking earlier when I said this wind. It's bad. Alright, well, know, my heart just skipped like 3 beats, 100% for sure. So anyways, the new CF Moto has the V4 engine, hence why it's the CF Moto V4. And just like the Panigale, the V4 is tilted at a 90-degree angle. The CF Moto is claiming that this bike is going to have 210 brake horsepower. A lot of people are interested in this bike, including myself. I posted a picture of it on my story, kind of like we did with the Kawasaki. A lot of people love it. I was scrolling down, and for like 20 comments straight, everybody said that they loved it. If you look at the way this bike is fully laid out, the way the subframe just comes together, it's almost like a MotoGP bike. Although we have no idea when this bike's going to be released, depending on what these bikes look like when everything's said and done, and when these bikes hit the market, I might buy one just to see what the new CF Moto's like. I think producing videos on that bike would be super fun. Ride it, abuse it, but maintain it like we do with the M, and see what the CF Moto platform's all about. Alright, let's stop real quick and pop off the ND filter because the sun's going down a little bit. Some of the things we know about the CF Moto is that it's weighing in around 440 pounds with a tank of fuel ready to go. The frame also has a super crazy design to it. The production dates and the MSRP, everything is to be announced on this bike still. But like I said, they teased it in the beginning of the year. It's now late in the year. The bike looks like it's pretty much fully done. Although I do think those winglets are massive and it's a crazy looking bike, I kind of like it. Like I said, we might snag one up. I'm just interested. I'm intrigued in this thing. The performance on this thing looks really good. Visually, I don't hate it. I have to see it in person. It's kind of like the BMW concept bike, which we're going to talk about next. It looks insane. I need to see it in front of me to visually comprehend what this bike is. And I'll be waiting to see what CF Moto does with the finished product of the bike, the release dates, all the good stuff. We're going to take a pause on the video for right now. We got a little bit of a sunset right in, but the traffic is so bad between the 5 and 7 o'clock range because everybody's getting off of work here in Texas. Over 33 million people live in this state. Over 8 million people alone in Dallas. Not fun, dude. I'm pretty much just riding in circles. So we're going to pause the video until tomorrow. We're going to talk about the rest of the bikes, including the new BMW concept bike, which we have some new news on this guy, and I'm excited to share with you guys. So let's do a quick magic trick, and then we'll get into the rest of the new bikes to discuss. Just like that, we're back. We're hopping straight on the M because we have the next bike to talk about. It's the following day. Sorry, I know you're probably like, what? Hello. Anyways, we're out at a little bit better of a time. We're gonna hop on the highways too, so have a little bit more fun today while we're talking about the rest of the details with EICMA. Next up, we have one of the bikes that I'm excited the most to talk about, which is a new BMW concept bike. This thing visually looks wild. Let's get into pretty much everything that we know currently about this bike. So one of the main things that we know about this bike is that BMW's intended to reveal this bike as what the next double R's are supposed to be looking like. I would assume the M1000 platforms are going to these. We know the double R's are for sure going to be looking like what the new concept bikes are. Now rewind back to the beginning of the year, around May, BMW first kind of unveiled this bike and teased it a little bit. From the first time they released it in May, the bike doesn't look like it's really changed much, which that's good for people who are looking to buy the bike. If not a lot of changes happen within the last 6 months, it means they're pretty confident with that bike. Again, just like the CF Moto, there's no official release date. There's been zero talk about the price of this bike. BMW describes this bike as, and I quote, a true masterpiece. There's going to be a lot of things that we talk about on the concept bike that's been derived from the BMW M1000. The bike's pretty much had a whole rework. From the tail section to the front, it's completely different. The tail section has a really cool illuminated RR on the back. BMW also states that the electronic system is getting some upgrades. From what it sounds like is they're pretty much taking the technology that they're using for the race bikes and trying to put as much as they possibly can into the actual street legal bikes. BMW claims 230 horsepower from this motorcycle. Again, it's safe to say that these numbers are inflated, but if it's anything close to that, that's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be an absolute game changer. I said this years ago, the technology that these bikes are getting is just so crazy. The computers in these bikes are adapting to pretty much everything. Some of the ECUs on the new modern 1000cc bikes, including the BMW, actually relearns itself. Just a crazy time to be alive, dude. All these new bikes stepping into the game, concept bikes, CF CF Moto dropping the new V4S RR, which, by the way, crazy name. It's just a great time to be alive. A lot of people are hating on the technology on these new bikes, and although I don't really mess with any of the rider aids on these bikes, you can see right now traction controls turned off, which I don't recommend. But you can't hate on the fact that there's an immense amount of room to do a bunch of crazy shit with these new bikes. But the bike looks sick. I don't know exactly how I feel about it, kind of like the CF Moto. I was reading more through the press release from BMW, and they talked about the construction of the bike being super lightweight, parts being made from aluminum and carbon fiber, which is super interesting. No matter what, I'm excited to see a new platform of the RR, even if the M1000s go to that style, which I'm pretty confident they're going to. At least we still have the whale, the 23-24 models. It means these will go up more in value if they stop making the style M1000s of these. Lane splitting right past the Dallas cop. Sorry, my guy. As much as I love the bikes that BMW builds, I don't know how interested I am in getting another BMW right now. I'm kind of ready for something new. That's about all I got for the BMW concept bike. Sit back patiently, like we will with the CF Moto, wait for a release date and the final product. I'm excited for all these new bikes though. Even the ZX10, even the ZX10, I know. The view never gets old, dude. Bro's got the merch on. So random. What's good, bro?
It was you.
What's up, bro? How are you?
Good, dude. Chilling.
Chilling, bro.
Love the hoodie, by the way.
You like it?
Yeah,
looks fire, bro. Gas. Nice and comfy, right? Bike looks good, bro.
Trying to get like you one day.
Hey, dude. I'm sure it's coming. I'm sure it's coming. I'm gonna go grab some water. You want a water?
Sure.
Bet. Alright, well, we stopped at Fuel City, hydrated up. Seeing the bro in the merch is actually insane. He's right behind us, actually. But we have the next bike to talk about on the list. We're not done. We have one more bike to discuss, and then we're going to talk about just general info that went down at EICMA. We have the Norton Manx R, and the Manx is pretty impressive, I'll tell you that. A whopping 8-inch TFT on that guy. The screen is absolutely massive. Is also a V4 motor, a 1200cc 73 degree V4 motor. 206 horsepower is what Norton is claiming this bike is going to produce. And I think one of the coolest things about this bike that I read on, this bike has sensors all over the suspension. The suspension actively adjusts for the type of terrain that you're on, road conditions, speed, which actually insane, man. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to work that system with all those sensors, but that sounds wild. The Norton Manx also comes with carbon fiber wheels. The carbon fiber wheels are made by BST. The BST worked with Norton, and together they actually developed a whole new wheel for the Norton bikes. This bike looks pretty promising as well. I will say visually, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Kind of looks like a V2 mixed with like a CVR 600. The tail section is super weird too, how it has like those graded vents. I don't know. I feel like it's a mix of old school aesthetic with a modern look. The bike will have typical rider modes, just like every other bike. Standard electronics come with the bike, but they also mentioned cornering cruise control. The only thing I can really find about this is that it basically just says that it maintains speed smoothly through corners. So I'm not sure if this is like a fancy way of them saying that they have cruise control on their bikes, or if that there's something specifically with cornering that's implemented into their cruise control. Every corner is different, so I'm not too sure what cornering cruise control even means. The Norton also comes with a single-sided swing arm. Also equipped on the bike are the new Brembo high pure calipers. Basically the same size piston inside the calipers, just made to be lighter and stronger. The new Ducati V4s have the high pure calipers, and the Aprilia RS V4s are switching to the high pure calipers as well. I had to stop real quick and just double check the information on the adjustable suspension, and let me read what it says. With real-time intelligence, sensors measure suspension travel and velocity as you ride, instantly adjusting damping to deliver maximum performance. So again, that's probably the coolest feature that I've seen on this new Norton besides the 8-inch TFT. This Norton seems like it's got some pretty cool aspects to it, so we'll see how well they do in the US market, how many we'll see out ripping on the road. A press release from Norton indicates that this is going to be their flagship bike, but that's about all we have for the Norton Manx R. The video's not over. There's still a bunch of news that went down at EICMA. A few new bikes were released, kind of the same style, but just small revisions we're going to talk about in just a second. But I just want to hop off the bike real quick to make sure we have the facts straight on active adjustable suspension. That thing sounds crazy, so let's get back on the road. The Aprilia RS V4 got some new colorways. Also has an aero package introduced to it. A 5-inch TFT, and Aprilia also claimed that they improved the electronics on it. Suzuki got some new colorways. It's the 40th anniversary for the GSXR 1000. So some of the new bikes that came out are in the new livery color scheme, which of course is the iconic Suzuki yellow. And before we stop talking about Aprilia fully, we have to talk about the Extrinta X GP. Of course, Aprilia pulled up to EICMA with these things. Or sorry, one of them. Only 30 of these things ever made. Price tag on these guys, $103,000. Pretty much as close as you can get to a MotoGP bike, being just a sport bike consumer. I wonder how many US we'll see. I guarantee you it'll be less than 10 that come to US. I'm sure probably all 30 of them are already spoken for. I doubt you could even get one allocated. It's probably one of those things where people are paying for allocations, just securing an allocation in itself, you could probably make money. I forgot to also mention on the new GSXR 1000, the power is slightly down on it. Just like Kawasaki, it's stricter emissions compliance. You hate to see it, man. More and more of these bikes just getting detuned to meet emissions. There's plenty of unlockable power that a tuner can always do, even though it sucks that straight out the box that these bikes are getting neutered pretty much. At least we know we can always take it to a tuner and get what we're missing back. Also, Honda just released a V3 supercharged naked bike, which is a 3-cylinder supercharged motor. MV Agusta just teased one of the new motors that they built as well, which is a 5-cylinder engine. You might be wondering why I'm talking about these. Well, these are new platforms of motors, and we're seeing the first of it. In the future, they will be heavily used. The new R7's got some revisions aesthetically. The front looks a little bit different, and the side profile of the R7 also looks different. I can't remember, it's either BST or Rotobox. They just developed an entire rear swing arm for the S1000s and M1000s full carbon fiber. They showed it off officially at EICMA, and these things are pretty much already ready for pre-order. Weight savings of 10 pounds on that guy, but they want over $8,000 for it. You tell me, is a carbon fiber rear swing arm worth $8 grand? It is one of the main features that keeps your bike rolling. It's built out of carbon fiber. Ducati dropped a new Hyper Motard. They brought back the yellow on the V2s and the Streetfighters. I love taking the express lanes, man. Also, Olin's also just changed the logo, which I'm not too sure why. It's one of the few logos that you just see and you know what it is. There isn't a ton in the motorcycle space that you just see the logo of and you know instantly. Owens is one of them. I don't know why they changed their logo. Looks like a modern tech company logo now. I don't know. As far as the sport bike and the superbike stuff goes, that's about all we got for EICMA 2025. Or at least that's all that made the interesting list for what I thought you guys would like to hear, what I found interesting myself. So like I said way earlier in the video, I posted on my Instagram story of all the bikes that we talked about today, or at least those 3 main ones that we covered. There's hundreds of replies to all the bikes. It was a pretty 50-50 split on the BMW concept bike. A lot of people don't like the size of the headlights on them. Some of the guys that replied that already have BMW bikes were mentioned how quickly they're going to purchase this new RR when it comes out. It was hard to put an exact percentage because it was just a love-hate, but I think the new BMWs are going to do well. So as far as the ZX10 goes, almost 80% of people do not like the ZX10s. And these were people that own ZX10s. They love Kawasaki's, and one of the main things that I took away from what they were saying is that it just feels like a huge slap in the face. Some of these guys were waiting to buy the new ZX10, and they don't want them now. It's like a ZX6 with wings, and like I said, it's hard to argue that. There was people who mentioned that they like it and said it looks good though. Not everybody hates it, but I was scrolling for quite a while to find the positive comments. And as far as the CF Moto goes, there's a lot of people who love those bikes as well. The people that were complaining about the CF Moto, most of them were just kind of talking about the huge winglets. I didn't really see any hate on the CF Moto besides people just disliking the winglets. I think a lot of people like the way the new CF Moto looks. And with it being a Chinese market, I guarantee you, these bikes are going to be starting out at a great price. I didn't post anything about the Norton, so unfortunately we don't have any feedback on the Norton. I'm very excited to see the new BMW in person and just see it get released and see what people do with it. But I am very excited for the CF Moto. I think, like I said, I will own that bike. I just want to get my hands on it, ride it, make videos, do cool stuff with it. Roast me all you want. I like it. I know today's video was a little bit different, talking about all the new models of bikes that they're releasing. But who knows, maybe we'll make this type of video a once-a-year thing.
Well, the GoPro just died, so we're gonna wrap up the video here on the iPhone. A gorgeous sunset, 2 days worth of riding, and a ton of research later. This video is at its closer. I appreciate you guys hanging out all the way till the end, and I'm super curious on what you guys think of all these new bikes that we talked about today. So drop a comment so we can keep discussing the current bikes that are about to be released. Also stay tuned because we have one of the biggest projects and announcements to ever see this channel coming soon. But anyways, I appreciate you guys tuning into the video as always, and I will see you guys very soon in the next one. Peace.